Hi everybody, it's Pam Spencer with Embassy Realty and I am loco for NoCo. Today we're going to have a chat about a buyer's agent. What is that exactly? Do I need one or don't I? Well, let's take a look. When you hire a buyer's agent in Colorado, you're hiring someone who will represent you as the buyer in a real estate transaction. Why is it important to have someone who represents you? Well, the problem with not having a buyer's agent is that you are then walking into a real estate transaction without somebody on your side. Without somebody on your side, you're then required to do all your own negotiating, your own research into the property, everything that needs to be done so you're informed on that property is done by you. You may or may not have the training and the knowledge to do that. So hiring a buyer's agent is a great way to make sure your best interests are taken. In Colorado, typically the buyer's agent is paid for by the seller. It's part of the cost up front that they put into a contract with their seller's agent. Now, in a Colorado real estate contract, there is a section that talks about whether or not you will be responsible to pay your agent if the selling agent does not offer compensation. Let's talk a little bit more about that. In your contract, when you sign that you will pay your buyer's agent, a lot of times for agents, what we're looking for mainly is that in the event a seller's agent is, let's say, not offering any compensation, we want to make sure we are paid for the work we do. Now, remember, all of this is 100% negotiable. So it's good to be informed about what the transaction will look like before you find the house of your dreams. One occasion when using this clause of a buyer must pay their agent tends to come up around for sale by owners. I have buyers at times who want to take a look at a property that's for sale by owner, but the owner does not want to pay any real estate costs. That is why they are putting it up for sale by owner. Now, what this can mean is if you have signed the contract with your agent and you have agreed to pay them, then they can write that into the contract. So if you decide to make an offer on the property, your agent can then put the commission structure within that property as a negotiating tool. I know for myself, for me, it's more important for you to get the house of your dreams than for me to get a hefty paycheck. I want to work together so it is absolutely a win-win proposition. Moving on to another topic, as far as why you should use a buyer's agent, what about in new builds? I've had clients go to a new build development and their agent, or I shouldn't say agent, the sales representative at the new build property has told them, if you don't use a buyer's agent, we will discount the price of the home. We will sell your house for your current home for a lower commission structure. So it sounds really tempting. So why wouldn't you go for it? Let's see. As with most things in life, when people are offering you something amazing, you have to ask yourself, is this too good to be true? And with new home development, sometimes it is. When a new home development is offering to sell your house at a lower commission structure, if you don't have a buyer's agent, you have to remember that all their goal is to get you into their home. So they are not guaranteeing that they will work hard to make sure you get top dollar on your current property. They're just saying they'll sell it cheaper. You got to ask yourself, is it worth it? Another situation that has come up prior to me signing a buyer's agreement with a potential client is a client has gone to look at a property and the selling agent for the sellers is saying that they can represent both sides. So what does that mean? In Colorado, you cannot have a dual agency. That means you cannot, in good faith, represent both the buyer and the seller. So Colorado has a different designation called a transaction broker. In a transaction broker relationship, the transaction broker actually represents the deal. What they become is more of a referee in the transaction that's going on between the parties. They cannot take a side. They cannot give advice or encourage anyone to go one way or the other. All they can do is present facts, and then you would need to do your own research and then make decisions based on those facts. When I represent a buyer through a buyer's agency, I have a fiduciary responsibility to make sure I am advocating in their best interests. I can interpret things, I can offer advice, or I like to think of it more as an education. I want my buyers to make the best decision possible, so I want them to have all the facts. There are so many things that could go wrong in a real estate transaction that having a buyer's agent in your corner, I think, is the best way to ensure that you will get through the process with the least amount of problems as possible. So I recommend using a buyer. If you have any other questions about this, please make a comment. Also, make sure you like, share, and subscribe.